Hello and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, I wanted to do some technical analysis on altcoins that you have requested for me to talk about, whether in comments of prior videos or in the recent live streams. So please comment below. Are there any altcoins that you would like for me to talk about that are available on Coinbase or Robinhood? These 5 altcoins I'm going to be talking about today are available on Coinbase, and I am talking about Render, VeChain, ONDO, WIF, and also Benki. Somebody requested Benki, and I think it's almost a top 500 coin or somewhere around the top 500 ranking. So let's get into fear and greed. And you can see right now, crypto still high up in extreme greed. And we have been way up in extreme greed really since November. Now, this is a good thing because last cycle, when we stayed high up in the greed for a couple months or so, that is when Bitcoin had alt season, not too much later. And when Bitcoin from this area, it nearly tripled its price and got to 65,000. So it went from 20K to 65K. And so this time around, might we see Bitcoin make another strong move, go from 100 to 150K and get alt season early? I don't know. We will see. But that is something that is typically boded well for Bitcoin, staying high up in greed for longer. As we talk about altcoins, it's important to think about Bitcoin dominance. That's the percent of money in the crypto world that is in Bitcoin. When that percentage goes down and when there's a rotation from the money that's in Bitcoin into altcoins, that is when in the past we've seen cryptos explode, altcoins go up by 5x, 10x, 20x in the matter of weeks. So, not saying this has to happen again, but the last 2 cycles, that is what we've seen. Do keep in mind there are many altcoins that since the bottom have already gone up 10x. So, at this stage of the game, as we are getting elevated in these rainbow chart price bands, subscribe to hear more about crypto cycles and valuation of crypto overall. But at this stage of the game, it is becoming more and more of a risky gamble. You are making your own risks and decisions here. As far as the alt season index, shout out blockchaincenter.net on the most macro time frame, we are still trending up. Haven't fully spiked into an altcoin year yet, but we are making higher lows, so maybe we can still catch a good discount out there. Going over to Bitcoin dominance, again, the percent of money in crypto that's in Bitcoin, roughly 58%. We want to see this go down, and in the past, when we've seen these big spikes down, you can see that was early May of 21. We'll show you exactly where that is, right around here at the end of that first peak. The last Bitcoin dominance tanked was in December of 2017. Going back over to the chart, you'll see that's the last time before that Bitcoin dominance went down. You can see right there 2017. So what we have right now is Bitcoin dominance, at least here, making a bearish, that's a bearish flagpole wedge flag pattern. So if this truly is turning out to be a bearish flag pattern, then maybe it stops here at these recent peaks around the 100-day moving average, comes down, up possibly one more time, and then shoots further down. So maybe a big move in altcoins is coming if this pattern continues to hold. Taking a look at Bitcoin, what we are currently looking for is this channel for Bitcoin to break out of that channel to the upside. This has been what's happened in prior cycles, that when Bitcoin gets in these really nice, strong, positive channels, that all of a sudden they can break up and really shoot higher. So maybe a big move to 120K or so is coming soon. So just something to keep in mind. We want to see that break up. But if it goes down, not the end of the world. We'd just be looking for some supports down in this 90K range as well. So let's get into our first altcoin, and we are going to talk about Render. So again, all these are available on Coinbase. We'll put this out on the weekly. And as far as the charts I've seen for Render, I didn't see any going further back than January of 22. So we will zoom in on the daily, get a more accurate description, I'm going to click the Fibonacci retracement tool. I'm going to draw a fib from the prior high out here to the most recent low. We are on log scale, as you can see here, and we're going to put our fib on log because we are between that recent high and low. So render got up to the 888 fib at around 11.5, 12 bucks, came down to the 618, came up again, tested the 786 here at 10, now it's coming down again. So it is liking this 20-day moving average. It is possible it holds on to it, but overall, the red candles, yes, it's looking bearish, but the one good thing here is we do have sort of a trend line going on here, the wicks and everything forming a base. So if you bought here, I wouldn't blame you, but if you're waiting and willing to be patient for discounts, you could look for the $8 mark. But again, we're talking about altcoins. If you believe this guy can 5x or whatever, then really you're not going to care if you got it at $8.88 or $8. Let's be honest. As far as Render's market cap, it has a $4.6 billion market cap. Now, something I'll say for altcoins in the top 100 ranking last time around, I saw a lot, not the very top performers, not the outliers, but I saw a lot of altcoins get to 20 to 40 billion dollars in that range. I'll even say 20 to 30. And so what I'm looking for this time around is for the average top 100 altcoin to get a little bit higher. We also have inflation. Our dollars are worth 20% less, so our targets can be 20% more, in my opinion. So I'm looking for a range for altcoins that do run. I'm not guaranteeing these will, but if they do run, then I'm looking for a range of 30 to 50 billion, a conservative range. You will see many crypto YouTubers, people on X, give you crazy price predictions, probably talking about Render going 8,000 or whatever. So if I am talking about a 10x, we'd only be looking at somewhere around 90, in my opinion, for the most bullish scenario. And compared to many predictions out there, that is being conservative. Again, do your own research. For any of these altcoins, weigh the pros, weigh the cons. I'm just here to give you the TA. So as far as the charts go, we can take a look at the price targets by taking our fib off log scale. Now, in order to do this, you need to first have your chart on log. Just so you know, that's how we set the fib and look at these price targets. You can see that about a 5x would be around this 4236. Now, if you want to take a look at higher fibs, you can draw them on here. You can click and type in something like let's just say an 8618, not a 48618. Let's just say an 8618. And you can say, okay, if we did have a 10x, maybe it would get up to that area. Another way you can calculate price targets, and this is just something I do, if I'm looking for that 30 to 50 billion dollar range, and I'm saying, you know what, I believe this can get to 30 billion. Now I'm just going to give this a valuation of 5 billion. I'm going to round it up, make it easy. That would be about a 6x. And so what would 6 times 9 be? So 6 times 9 would be, what would that be? 54. We'd be taking a look for Render around $54. So those are a couple ways I look at price targets. Other things I'm looking for, again, is Bitcoin up in these orange bands? If it is, and any of my price targets get hit, any of those round numbers, any of those fibs, then I'm withdrawing. I'm also withdrawing. This is me now, not you. You decide your own plan. I'm withdrawing if Bitcoin dominance is tanking and it's getting to the low 40%. So that's how I look for areas of when to pull out my money, have price targets, and have different qualifications, if you will, on what to look for and when to withdraw your hard-earned dollars, because we don't know if Render is going to turn into a falling knife. You could have a stop loss here at $7 and say, you know what, no matter what happens, if it gets to $7, I'm just withdrawing my money. I'm not going to lose it all. But if you're willing to let it ride, then you would take a look at those price targets. Here at the fibs, and again, you can calculate based on market cap too. Next altcoin, let's take a look at VeChain, and that ticker is VET. And so for VeChain, we'll go to the Coinbase one. How far back does this go? So VeChain is looking relatively newer, at least on Coinbase, only goes back this far. I'm wondering, I'll go back to it if I don't see anything different. Let's take a look at it on Binance. Yeah, there we go. So the more data we have, the better. You guys know how I like to do this. I'm going to draw a fib from the macro prior high to low. And right now, VeChain currently is at, it had some resistance at the 0.5. So it had a nice move up. Here's the measure tool on the left. Had a nice move up of about 250%. So keep that in mind. Even down here, it's already moved up 150%. So if you want to be patient, you could take a look at on the daily. You can see there's some bit of bearishness here. It got rejected off the 0.5. You could wait for something in the low. This is about the low 4-cent range. The 382 fibs at about 4.043 and the 50-day moving average 0.045. So if you wanted to be patient, wait for a discount, I'd say here's the start of those discounted areas. But it did have a move up, and sometimes when these have big moves up, they don't always come back to the discounts. And that's why I'll tell you by experience, when I make better money, it's usually when I'm being patient and I'm not chasing. I don't have FOMO. So let's take a look at some of those price targets. I'm not going to go through reverse calculating the market cap totally, but we will take a look at some of these fib price targets. And right now, with this being at around 5 cents, you can see around let's see, some of these fib markers are pretty decently high. Let's go back to this prior high. This prior high is about 5 times higher that it got to. So just getting to the prior high wouldn't be too bad if you take a look at it that way. And if it nearly did a 10x, then maybe you'd be taking a look somewhere between the 1,618 and the 2,618. Again, it's important to think of market cap has about a $4.5 billion market cap. So if it got to $45 billion, did a 10x, then you'd be taking a look at somewhere around 55 cents. Where does 55 cents fall? In here. So you could be looking, maybe most bullish scenario. This is me talking. If I were to buy VeChain today, for me personally, I'd be taking a look between the 1,618 and the 2,618. Next, let's go to ONDO and WIF. So ONDO, 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 and we'll go back to Binance here because if the chart doesn't suck. So let's do a different one, just in case there's a better one. ONDO Finance. All right, so that is the chart. Cool. So ONDO. All right, we are already breaking above the previous peak made back here in June. You can see there was a low there, so I think it makes sense to draw a high-low fib. It's already off log scale, that's fine. So where did ONDO get to? It got to the 1,618 at around $2.10. If it continues higher, you can see where these further fibs are. Still is the 8,618 up there at around $9. That'd be something like a 4.5x up there. Now ONDO has let's just say a $3 billion market cap, just a little bit underneath that. So if this was to do a 10x, you'd be taking a look at $20 somewhere in there. But as far as where it's at right now and what it's doing, this is looking pretty bullish. Had this big move up. You can see that there's these strong wicks underneath. Whenever there's big wicks underneath, it is telling you that there are buyers waiting down here. And where were they waiting? At the 888 fib, at the 20 moving averages. And now people are just riding the 10-day moving average up. So looking pretty bullish. It does have this 1,618 to contend with, but if it gets through there, that's going to be looking pretty good. This one actually shows its market cap. So right now, ONDO looking good. Am I buying this right now? No. If I was buying ONDO, I would be willing to be patient with it. And again, a lot of people are going to be coming in late to the game. And if you are taking an educated gamble. And if you believe that this is going to be one of the top altcoins, will it matter whether you buy it now or not? No. But then you have to be willing to sell. So just do know if you are buying, You're buying at an all-time high, a premium, and you believe this is going to do well. So there is more risk. However, I will say, as far as a positive bias, you could make the argument, well, look at this chart. People are buying it. It's at all-time highs because people believe in it. But I will always say, just whatever altcoin stocks you like, just check them once a week, once a month, and you can at least find them when they're at these moving averages and better value fibs. Next one, let's get over to Dog Whiff Hat, a meme coin, obviously, about a $3 billion market cap, a little bit under. It's the number 57.1. So Whiff must be a recent Bitcoin listing. So we will take a look at this on Tether. And this one started over here in March of this year. That was right around the halving time. Just making sure, yep, we have the right ticker. And let's draw our fib because we're underneath those prior highs. You can also draw fibs from the low to the high too in order to catch discounts. So when you're going low to high, actually, let's do that real quick. If you're drawing a fib from the low to the high, like this, find the most recent macro low, and you want a high that you're not at right now, and you can say, okay, it is retraced back to the 0.5 or the 618. So you'd want to see the 618 hold. You'd want to see these moving averages hold support. I'd say at least better value here with these higher lows. I would say not the worst time to be buying Whiff. If you, this feels kind of silly to say out loud, not gonna lie. There is one concern here. We do have this double top, so it is possible that turns into something. But if you like these higher lows and this value here at the, let's make sure we're on the log. We're not on the log yet. We'll take it off log. We have price targets. We're at the 618 here. We're at the moving averages. You'd want that to hold. But as far as price targets, if Whiff is to run, $3 billion market cap, remember, just a little bit under it. And here are some of your fib price targets. So if Whiff is to do something like a 9x or a 10x, get up near the 8618, then you believe Whiff could have somewhere around a $30 billion market cap. Again, we're not getting it at a major discount. We're getting it at somewhat of a discount. But I would say out of all the charts right here, as far as the fibs and the moving averages, I'd say a better deal here. However, having a double top, that does concern me a little bit as far as this chart goes. So got to weigh the positives and the negatives. Lastly, let's take a look at Benki. Never even heard of this one until one of you commented on it. So yeah, let's do this one. QI is the ticker. All right. So Benki, let's zoom out a little bit. All right, that's how far it goes. Sort of reminds me of Render, doesn't it? Let's just go back to that and sort of pasting that chart in my head. Yeah, it's somewhat similar. Kind of reminds me of Render. So the analysis on this one's probably not going to be too different. So let's draw our fib from the high to the low because we're between there. We got to put it on log to see which fib we're at right now. So current strong move up from its low here. You can see on the weekly is looking really good. Here we're at the daily. Didn't quite reach the 786, but what moving average is this liking? It is liking the 20-day moving average. We do have this very strong doji with the sell signal, and it is coming down. You could be patient, wait for the 0.5. Again, you're pinching pennies as far as these alts are concerned. There's also this 50-day moving average it didn't quite get to. So if you want to wait for more discounts down here, you could. But if you bought it here, I would not blame you. It has a market cap. This is a penny stock. The penny stock of a small cap altcoin. So very much a gamble. $100 million market cap. Now, of course, some people will salivate and say, what if it got to 10 billion or so and did a 100x, because a 10x would be a billion, 100x would be 10 billion. Not likely to go that high, but just something to consider is how are you calculating price targets? You know, right now Benki is at 2 cents, 0.1, and if it did somewhere close to a 10x or so, it'd be getting up here around the 8618. We can add in more fibs here. We can do let's do a 7618. You can add as many fib levels as you want, 236s, 618s. The 7618, sorry, that one's pretty close, is 23.6 cents. So kind of close to a 10x there. But again, you can look at market cap. Maybe you're looking for a billion, 5 billion, a 50x. I don't know. But as far as if you get on any of these altcoins that do run, some of these smaller caps, if you're lucky, they can explode. You can get 50x's, but more often than not, they don't all do that. Or if they do go up by a more than a 10x or a 20x, you might only have a couple days or even a day, a few hours to take those profits before it falls off a cliff again. So just something to keep in mind. Anyways, we're going to end it here. Please comment below if there are any Coinbase or Robinhood altcoins you would like for me to do technical analysis on. I'd be happy to do those videos more frequently for all you wonderful subscribers and viewers in the future. As always, thank you for watching and have a great night. Take care.